Now, last but not least is not the right word, because we will get Andy afterwards as well. But I'm happy to have with us Shaun Harris. He's and I think as commercial director of Codeweavers, they most probably had the year with loads of requests. So you have been very busy providing services to many new traders in their quest probably to increase the online capabilities. Now, we have seen some advice throughout this half a day, but I think, Shaun, it's good that you summarize with your input and your experience what the consumer really needs in this online retail world. Shaun, thanks for being here, and all up to you. If you want, you can share your presentation now.
Thank you for inviting me, Johan. You are right. It was it was quite a busy period, especially last year when the first lockdown hit. I think we were on a journey anyway, with in the UK certainly with e-retail, but it certainly accelerated with lots of people realizing that they needed to get online and quickly, which was great for learning, and hopefully can help with just some of the simple tips that I'm going to share today. Some of the things we've seen people do over the last 12 to 18 months, and also some things to avoid with some experiences that maybe weren't quite as good. So if I just move through, as introduced, I'm the commercial director of Codeweavers, and we're talking about leading the customers through the online journey by building trust. Just a little bit about us. We're a software development agency, primarily operating in the UK, although we do some work in Europe. And we're involved in our commerce platforms, involved in building e-retail journeys, digital journeys, and helping, as well as creating our own, but helping other people to create theirs as well via APIs. And just an idea of the scope that we've seen that I'm going to use today by way of experience. We've worked with OEMs, a lot of OEMs in the UK. We work with far more than just those four there, but they're some examples. So we've been involved in a number as both lead agency, co-agency, and just supporting APIs with a number of OEMs since the very first one was launched in the UK with BMW. We've also worked with retailers, especially over the last 12 to 15 months when there's been a rush to get online because of the COVID lockdowns, and it was essential for retailers to at least have some sort of way of engaging customers and being able to retail cars. We also work with lenders to enable them to facilitate finance as part of these journeys, and also with media agencies and partners, both CRMs, but also some of the major agencies that have built their own end-to-end journeys, people like G-Forces, Blue Sky Interactive, AutoWeb, and we also work with some portals such as AutoTrader and Heycar. So we've got quite a breadth of experience there in terms of who we've worked with and who we've seen engage in these digital journeys. The first thing, and I'm going to make 6 points, and apologies, some of them are very common sense, and no doubt will have been mentioned previously. But the first one is don't recreate the in-store experience. And I'm using a statistic there from AutoTrader, who did some extensive research on customers' perception and satisfaction rating of the in-store experience. And only 56% of people actually enjoyed the experience of purchasing a car in store. So what we're looking to do when we're looking at buying online and digital retailing is we're looking to target the 44% that really don't enjoy that experience. And some of the things that were called out in that experience that they don't like is negotiation. A lot of people find negotiation uncomfortable. It's not a pleasurable experience. And the sheer time consumed with paperwork, with talking, with negotiation, on average, it can be 3 hours of time spent in the retailer. And Of that 3 hours, customers are quite often in the traditional model left at the salesperson's desk while they go off and do various things. So it's a laborious experience. It can sometimes be uncomfortable. And what we're looking to do is oppose that and get that 44% that want a different, quicker, and easier experience. And this also comes down to pricing. The very fact that a lot of these people don't like negotiations means that the first rule of going online is make sure that the price of the vehicle is accurate for an online sale. We've seen OEMs, especially in the early days, trying to sell cars at recommended retail price online. Despite the fact it's online, despite the fact it's quick, despite the fact it can be convenient, a customer's not going to buy the most expensive car in the country online because they know there's discounts elsewhere. So when you're looking at pricing, it's got to be realistic to the online audience. The second point of the 6 I'm going to make is build confidence in the process from the absolute start. And I've used an example of Kazoo there, who I quite like the fact that they make 3 very simple but powerful messages. And they don't just do it once. They use the rule of 3. So when you go onto their website, you can see that they're making a play that the car is quality assured. They're doing a lot of checks on the car. So they're building comfort. They've got a money-back guarantee, 7 days. That overcomes one of the main barriers that people always throw up, which is test drives, which as an industry, retailers probably see more value in test drives than actual customers do. But also that there's a care plan behind it. But the key thing is they make this statement very early on their landing page, but customers need to be told 3 times before they'll believe anything. So they restate this message in the search, they restate it on the details page, and in fact they restate it twice on the details page, one in summary and one more detailed. So you need to think about that rule of 3. If you want a customer to believe something as the truth, you need to tell them 3 times. We've seen too many people, especially when lockdown hit, just think that putting a buy button onto their retailer website specifically was going to sell cars. It doesn't. Customers need to believe that there is a robust process, that there's quality involved, and that they've got confidence. And this is an obvious one, but I'll state it anyway. Present the product at its absolute best. Sharp and professional imagery, 360 views, video reviews of the car. Also, customer reviews. That's another way to build confidence. Even if you get the odd review that isn't great, that's not a problem, because actually if reviews are 5-star all the way through, people don't believe them anyway, and there's quite a lot of research on that. Great product descriptions and also product comparisons as well, really useful, but it's absolutely essential. This customer is not going to walk around the car physically. They need to be able to see it really clear and sharp, great descriptions. And this is a key one for me, is let the customer build the deal uninterrupted at the start. We've seen buy online solutions where people have immediately opened up by putting a create your account. If you force a customer down the route of creating an account too early, they're unlikely to go through it. What you want to do is you want to give them the ability to really engage before they have to give any information over. Bring tools to build a deal forward. Ideally into search, and I've got a video after this to show some of these ideas, but bring part exchange through. Don't make a customer get to the end of a buying process to be able to put their part exchange in or find out how much finance is. Bring these things forward. Let them create as much of their deal as they can, ideally as early as search. Also focus around the buying experience, not around lead generation. One of the things that we saw, especially at the start of lockdown, was people were keeping 5, 6, sometimes 7 calls to action on the details page of their website, including arrange a test drive when retailers were closed and they couldn't do test drives. If you're going to focus on selling online, that needs to be the primary focus. There's in essence 3 sorts of leads for me. One is the customer's not sure about the deal or the car. they'll want to make an inquiry, arrange a test drive. The customer's sure about the car, but maybe not sure about the deal, thinks they might get better. They're likely to reserve or inquire as well. And then what we're looking for is the customer that's sure about the deal because you bought tools forward to allow them to create that deal, and they're sure about the car because you've got really good descriptions and crisp imagery. That's the customer we're focusing on. That's the customer we want to lead into a buying journey. So what I've done is I've got a very quick video that I've used a hypothesis of a new car stock locator to just show bringing some of these tools forward. So we're bringing finance to the fore before customers can even or could look at cars. Why not invite them to see what sort of budget they've got, what deposit they've got? We know, especially for new cars, 92% of customers use finance. So bring that into their search journey, allow them to do that early. So here's an example where we've now got to some vehicles based upon those finance parameters that customers put in. They can also, on this search page, get a part exchange valuation for their car. We've not asked them for any details at all yet, but we're allowing them to get comfortable in this search journey. Now they're down to 2 cars because we've put the £9,000 part exchange valuation into their search. Now we can go in, we can see some imagery, we can see some product descriptions. Maybe we can restate the finance again down here, allow them to understand the difference in products again, some videos, some information. At no point have we asked the customer to log in or exchange any details with us yet at all. And as soon as they've got to the point where they're happy with that deal, then you can go into a checkout scenario. And checkout is now about just finalizing the deal. It's about reaffirming the deal that they're buying that car on. It's about taking a reservation payment. It's about applying for the finance and maybe arranging collection or delivery. The 5th point is sell the car first and don't get product greedy. One of the things that I really like about Sophology's website, which is the image I've put up here, is they only look to add 3 very easy to explain, visually appealing, and actually relatively cost-effective add-on products. They're not trying to load complexity. The first thing you need to do with a buying journey is to sell the vehicle. If you're going to add-on products, which we know, especially in the UK and other territories, no doubt, are a good profit generator, you can do that later. And my final point is about making sure you've got something that allows you to do that. But especially in the UK, we've got demands and needs due to the FCA regulations. It's a very weighty process to go through before you can even get a quote. And it will disrupt the journey. What we're looking to do is make this journey very quick, very easy. We're looking to appeal to that 44% that don't like the negotiation elements. They maybe don't like being sold to. So limit it to easy to present. You can always prompt later in a customer area. And finally, if you're going to have a buy online journey, what you really need is to underpin it with a very good customer area, a customer account where once they've purchased their car, they can maybe do their identity determination and verification for their finance. They can e-sign any documents in that customer area. They can come back to it and complete the deal. And maybe they can then, at that point in their customer area, once they've purchased the car and done the exciting bit, then you can send them prompts to review additional insurance products, additional products that may help to protect that car over time. But you don't have to do it at the initial checkout, especially if there's complexity. The customer can review their deal. And they can maybe communicate about change of delivery dates or change of collection dates, or have really effective communication method with that customer through a customer area. And I know there will be elements here that for some aren't quite achievable yet. Not every lender has an e-sign that can be done remotely, or an ID&V that can be done remotely without any salesperson interaction. But that's the direction of travel. That's where the suppliers need to step up and support some of these ideas. So just to reiterate, with my 45 seconds that I have left of my 15 minutes, attract those people that don't like the current process. We're looking for the people that don't like to negotiate, don't like to be sold to, and want to do things quicker and easier. Don't force them to give details before they've been able to build a deal. Offer them that quid pro quo of being able to examine their part exchange, examine their finance, to build this deal to become comfortable. If you do that, then you can take them through to a checkout. Make the checkout as slick as possible. Don't overburden it and oversell it with lots of insurance products, and have a good customer area. And I believe that, Johan, is my 15 minutes dead on.
Thanks, Shaun. You actually had a bit more, but that's okay for us. No problem. No, I think some great advice, and again, some opportunity for everyone to reflect on their own situation. Maybe if I could ask you one question, and this goes back to the other speakers. Frederick, for example, he talked about companies that would like to implement this to act as a startup. Maybe it's interesting to give your view on how have you seen dealer groups or something being able to change this way how they operate?
I think the biggest challenge is encouraging them to think about profit in a different way. And one of the challenges, especially in the UK, we've got is such a large percentage of the profit margin of a vehicle comes from the sale of add-on products. And it's about looking at e-retail in a different way. Whenever I'm talking generally to retailers, and we're talking about building deals online, they want to know what products they can actually get in there. How are we going to present gap? How are we going to present warranty? We need to make add-on profit. The problem is that detracts from actually selling the vehicle. So we probably need a mind shift that actually the vehicle is the profit margin. And one of the things that people seem to forget when they're looking at online is that the costs are less. The whole point of online sales is you're making efficiency savings. You're making cost of sale savings because you don't have salespeople sat with a customer for 3 hours. So actually, use those savings to then start to bring the profit margin into the vehicle. Prioritize that. Prioritize the sale of the vehicles, and then look at add-on products as an added extra, but not a fundamental part of actually the sale. And also focus on that selling the vehicle element. Still, online solutions do create leads, but actually what we're looking to do is make it easy for a customer to buy a car. And we're looking at that 44% that don't like negotiation. And that comes to the final point, which is the mind shift of actually how you price a car. We need to move towards fixed price retailing or discounted for retailing for buy online, not still have this mindset of negotiation. Oh, I'll put the vehicle up for 20,000, expecting that the customer will want it at 19. Yep. No, put the car up at 19,000 and retail it.
Okay, thank you, Shaun. I think some great insight and advice that we all can use.